Good morning, everyone. It's me, KP. I'm here in my studio, The Moon and the Maker, and I'm here for a day. I keep writing the day, the number of the day that it is, and I'm never sure if I'm right. But I think that we're at day number 9 for Stamp Down to Christmas. So welcome. Hi, Becky. Welcome. Yeah, well, you can go back and watch the other videos if you like it. We're just doing a different stamp a day from a different artist from RubberMoon, and we're stamping something and coloring it in a variety of ways and just talking about, maybe what you'd like to do with it. Sometimes we're making, I guess, a little bit of a project or an actual finished piece, but mostly it's just to explore and have some fun. So, all right. Well, so this one is going to be a little bit different. Not different in the sense of what we're doing. We're still doing the same thing, stamping down. But yesterday I created my piece, or my stamp a day with one of Jone Hallmark stamps. Let me grab that real fast. I've been so good about keeping everything organized and together, but it's across the room, so let me grab it. So if you remember, yesterday we stamped on a book page and we used a little bit of gesso and some, we used water-soluble crayons. Okay, use this wonderful Frida image from Jone. Well, we're going to be doing a different artist every day, except for today we're going to do Jone again. We're going to feature one of Jone's images, but the catch is that today is the first day. Also, we have a lot going on here. So today is the first day of the 12 days of Christmas here at RubberMoon. And so for our first day, we are launching some of Jone Hallmark's new stamps. Now, I'm going to tease you here because I am not going to share them all with you right now. I'm going to go live on RubberMoon's, or I'm going to go live later on today. I probably will go ahead and do it here on RubberMoon TV just because I love the format so much better, and then we'll post it to RubberMoon. But I am going to do a live later this afternoon at 1 o'clock showing all of Jone's new stamps. Now, there's not a ton. It's not like a humongous launch, but I will tell you we have some really fabulous new images. They are all mostly like to do with sort of, I guess, Valentine's, but not specific Valentine's, just in spring, because I'm trying to look ahead. But anyway, again, it's not a humongous launch, but it's really fantastic. If you know me and you know Jone, then you know how much I love Jone stamps. So I'm really excited about it. But I wanted to share this one for our stamp down because this was an image that Jone had shown me like a while ago, like months and months ago. And I said, oh my gosh, we have to do this as a stamp. It'll be so great for so many reasons. So I'm super excited. Also, one of my all-time favorite people in the world, Emily Fidel. I hope I'm saying it right. I don't have a good accent, but Emily made some samples with Jone's stamps. So I'm excited to share those with you. We'll be doing a slideshow later today, and that will also be posted at RubberMoon, at the RubberMoon Facebook page. So you can check it out later. If you can come back and join me at 1 o'clock, then Emily, I was just talking about you, Emily Murphy. So anyway, I'm sorry, I do see something shiny and get distracted. So if you can join me later today at 1 o'clock, then I will love to share with you Jone's new stamps, and we'll also be sharing Emily's amazing samples that she did. So and then I'll show a couple of mine, not as amazing as Emily's, but but fun nevertheless. So we're going to color this stamp, and honestly, I don't even know the name of it, and no, that's not surprising to you, though. You know that I always forget the names. So I have already stamped this. Maxi Moon, if you're watching and you can post the name of this stamp, that would be awesome. Anyway, so I've stamped it twice here on a little piece of watercolor paper. I stamped it using the black side of my Moonlight Duo. I let it dry. And then I took, and I'm going to actually do this for you. I took these are new. We just got these in at rubbermoon.com, and I am madly in love with them. These are masking fluid markers. And if you've ever used masking fluid, then you know it can kind of be tricky and a little bit of a pain. But this makes life so much easier, okay? They come in two sizes. They have a 7 millimeter and a 4 millimeter. The 4 is a little bit wider, and you can tell what's really cool about these is that it has a new fresh nib right in the cap. And I will tell you a little bit about these. So if you ever have used masking fluid, then you know it sort of can be a little bit hard to apply. It can be a little bit thick. It takes a long time to dry. So this makes your life easy. One thing I'm going to mention is you want to store them horizontal. So when you store them, do not put them in a cup or anything. You want to store them laying flat, okay? You're going to shake it really well, okay? And you're going to depress the nib to get it flowing, okay? Once you've used it, it flows out really nicely and very thin. You're going to probably expect it to glob a lot more than it does. It really doesn't get too globby, at least so far, okay? So it does have a tendency to get a little bit of buildup at the tip. So you're going to just want to gently sort of remove that with your fingers, okay? And then I, again, stamped my image. I got my marker flowing. And the nice thing is that it runs a little bit with a blue tint, a very light blue tint. So you can actually see where you're marking it, okay? Hold on one second. I have to turn my ringer off. Sorry about that. All right. So anyway, I went ahead. I stamped it in black ink, like I said, and then I used my marker. I'm gonna stamp one really quick and just do this with you. Just a little bit. I won't do the whole thing because I've already done it and let it dry. Okay. So now if you wanted to heat set it just a little bit really quickly with your heat tool or your blow dryer, that's great. Like I said, get your marker flowing. And then I'm just going to color in really kind of quickly all the little flowers and little leaves. Of course, if you were doing this and you wanted to put extra little polka dots or extra little lines, you could. Remember, what it's going to be doing is it's going to be preserving the whites of my paper. Now, I know you probably can't see that super well, but I think you can sort of see where I laid it down, just the little tiniest blue tinge, okay? So now I have already done that, and it's dry pretty quick, which is wonderful. If you've used masking fluid, then you know sometimes you get these little globs and it takes a long time to dry, and so you can't paint right away. Well, this is really quick. I only did this maybe 10 minutes before I came on, but it was dry right away. I could paint pretty fast, as long as you don't get any really thick globby spots, you should be okay. All right. And then remember, your masking fluid does not ever fully dry. It stays sort of tacky or sticky. It's something that you're going to remove after your paint dries. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a wash of color right over the top. And of course, have fun with this part. You can really go crazy and mix colors if you wanted to blend in another shade, if you wanted to sort of make some rainbow hearts, or just give a little bit more fun sort of bright pops of color. And I'm just going to be real quick. You can see I painted in this one just using my opera pink. I really didn't put any other colors in this one. I decided it would be fun just to show you how you could, you know, mix in your watercolors and let them flow together. If you, like I said, if you wanted to make it more rainbowy or whatever. Remember, one thing is that you're going to be saving the whites with that masking fluid. So the deeper the color, the more the white is going to show up. Okay, so of course you're going to let this dry really well. And since it's watercolor, I'm not going to want to heat set it or use a heat tool or blow dryer on it, because if I do that, then it will make my masking fluid sort of bond with the paper, which you absolutely do not want. This needs to be fully dry, okay, which I'm pretty sure it is. And then you can take, either you can use your finger if it's clean and dry. So Alba has a question. She says, can you use this marker with other media? Okay, you can use the marker if you're painting over with like acrylic paint or something. You would not want to use it with like pencils or anything, because if I use it with pencils, it's going to pull that up. You know what I mean? So it has to be paint or something that you're going to put a color over gently. You could use it with airbrush if you want to do airbrush. So now I'm going to go ahead. The one thing is you do sort of want to make sure this is kind of clean. If you need to, you can even cut it with the scissors. Okay. I'm just going to, it's not an eraser. This is called a rubber cement pickup. Okay. It's just like a gummy thing of condensed rubber. I'm just going to gently sort of scrub that away. And keep in mind that wherever the masking film fluid, I keep calling it film, but it's not, it's masking fluid, wherever that was, is going to peel away and leave a white space. Okay, so now of course I could go back in and color in if I wanted to, or leave it white. If I color in, now these are really super tiny detail areas, so of course I'm just going to want to use a detail brush and not a lot of water, obviously. And I could paint right in, or you know, this on these areas I could also use my colored pencils, or if it was something you just wanted to leave white, you could do that too. Well, see, like I said, this doesn't pop as much just because the area around it is so pale, but and I don't really know what color I want to paint my little flowers. Maybe I'll just do them little teal flowers, okay? Something that'll stand out nice on there. All right, so the cool thing about this stamp that I really love, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. This one here. This one's still a little bit wet, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. Well, this is just on a sort of a thinner weight watercolor paper. It's on 90 pound. So keep in mind, if I had done this on a little bit thicker watercolor paper or on cardstock, I mean, this is going to be fine. But if you wanted it to be heavier, then you could definitely stamp it on a cardstock, or 140 pound watercolor paper would be good. So what I love about this is that I'm going to go ahead and also get my craft knife and a little cutting mat. This stamp, I think, is just so darn cute and so versatile. And I'll show you what I mean. So, of course, you can just fold that right there. And you have the cutest little enclosure card, right? Just boom, right away. You have like a little tiny enclosure card, or also the other thing, and I think the thing that actually Jone intended it for is that you could make a whole bunch of these and string them on a string, and you have a heart banner. Okay, but if you can see, we have a couple stamps. Like we have this little take care stamp, and I did this, I pre-did this using colored pencil with the little take care, boom, right on the back. Or Jone also has this other new stamp. I haven't even stamped it yet. And so now I'm cheating. I'm showing you two in the line, right? I think, I can't remember how many there are. There's only like, I want to say around maybe, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 16 or something like that. I can't remember right offhand, but so if you're familiar with Jone's work, her little handwriting, oh, so, so cute. And it just goes so perfectly. And this one says, be kind. Oh, don't you love it? I do. Her stuff is just so magical. So anyway, you could easily, like I said, make the little banner, or you can make a little enclosure card, or the other thing that you can do is boop, boop, just cut that right off there. You'd probably want to round it just the slightest bit. So you might have to play with it just, you know, to sort of finesse it a little bit. But then you have two hearts. So anyway, bet you can't wait to get your hands on this stamp. I'm sorry, I'm such a tease. But we had to start off the 12 days of Christmas and have a stamp down that was, you know, worthy, right? So what do y'all think? Isn't it the cutest? Anyway, I hope you love the stamp. I hope you love STAMPdown. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, Jan, 35 new stamps, some tiny. Okay, I completely lied to you, and I did not mean to. One of the things, though, is that there are a few stamps that are specifically made to work together. So I will definitely be showing you that today at 1 o'clock if you want to come back and join me. I'm getting ready to stamp them all out and play a little bit. So, and then, like I said, we'll also be sharing with you Emily's amazing samples that she did. So Jan wants to know the colors in the palette. In this palette, Jan? If this is the colors that you're wanting to know in this palette, this is Cobalt Teal, Dioxazine Purple, Quinacridone Magenta, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, and Opera Pink, and then white. Yeah. So again, I'll just repeat myself really quickly. Oh, I did a green gold, Cobalt Teal, Dioxazine Purple, Quinacridone Magenta. Well, this has 2 oranges in it, but mostly I use the, this just has, I think, vat or I can't remember this orange, but mostly I use a transparent Pyrrole orange. I think that just had some left over in there. And then opera pink and white. Oh, God. Well, thank you so much, Becky. I hope you'll come back and join us and look at the other videos. I'm going to go ahead while I'm sitting here chatting with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I think it's probably dry enough. I'll just use my finger. Now, if you have just a small little amount, your finger will work fine. If you have too much, it starts to really hurt your finger. So I don't recommend it for very many areas, but just a little light rubbing, and again, making sure everything is dry. If you have areas or anything that's not dry, it will smear, okay? And I didn't do the best masking job just because I was kind of, under the gun, but you can see for something so small like this, it really doesn't matter, So again, we'll just turn this one into a little enclosure card. So if anybody has any questions, yes, Emily has another great idea. She says you can make a great magnet bookmark with this stamp. So yes, and I hope if you love Jone stamps as much as I do, then you can look forward to more, of course, coming from her in the future, because she is so prolific. And believe me, it is so hard deciding what stamps to use. Yes, Alba, we do sell this marker. I will put up the link for you. Or Maxi Moon, if you're watching, can you put up the link to these masking fluid markers? Okay. So yeah, the 4 mil is larger, and the 4 millimeter is a larger, and the 7 is the smaller. Okay. So if you have not subscribed and liked RubberMoon TV, I hope that you will. I hope you'll share it with your friends if you like it enough, or if you if you like it enough to like it, and you would like to share that we are doing the stamp down. I always really appreciate that. And yeah, what else? Let's see. Yeah, so that Jan said, if you've been in the stamping world forever, then she was a designer for Paper Garden way back in the day, and also for let's see, Paper Garden, and Jan was at Annette Watkins Printworks. She did stuff with Printworks too. But she's always been amazing. I've been in love with her art and her. She's a darling person. And I say she's like a magical little fairy. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, you definitely need to. She posts magical work. Anyway, okay, so like I said, you can do a banner. You can do a little gift enclosure card. You could do a magnetized bookmark, or you can get 2 hearts out of one. And, of course, if you did not want to cut this in half like this, and you just wanted to stamp 1/2, or say you just wanted to, use 1/2 and not have this little cutoff like that, of course, you could go in right at this point and even do a little pen work just to sort of finish off whichever side of the heart that you wanted, and then you could cut it if you wanted it a little bit more precise. So there's different ways, of course, of approaching it, but really it's so many different possibilities in one stamp. And of course, different ways of coloring it. As you can see, this one I colored with, I wanted to do it a little bit more crisp, and I'm actually not all the way done. I would probably do a little more burnishing in the background. Well, actually, let's do that while I have you captive. Anyway, I did it with colored pencils, and I wanted to do it a little more Christmassy colors. I did not mask these off, if any of you are wondering. I just colored around them, although I didn't do a very good job. So I'm going to go in and just color these flowers. I know that's probably kind of a weird color, but again, I sort of wanted it to look a little more like Christmassy colors. And I wanted to darken up the background. And of course, you know, if you had a clear blender marker, a clear blender pen, that would work great too. Well, it's getting there. But anyway, now this one's on mixed media paper. Or no, actually, I take that back. This is on that Stonehenge I was telling you about. Bye, Libby. Thank you so much. I hope you get makey soon. Anyway, this is on the Stonehenge, just sort of multi-use paper. Sort of like a cardstock, so it's nice and has a little weight to it. And I don't know why I'm sitting here cutting all this out. I'm already done with all my coloring, but I guess I'm just having way too much fun. Just indulge me. I'll finish up and then I'll say my goodbyes. So of course, I think cutting out that centerpiece, I fussy cut it with my craft knife and my cutting mat, but I guess I really don't need to do that. Once you fold it in half, you can easily just trim out that centerpiece. And voila. All right, so now you've indulged me properly. Thank you guys so much for joining me again. I have been loving being here every morning with you all, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 11, but hopefully I will see you at 1 o'clock back here on RubberMoon TV, where I'm going to share all of Jone's new stamps. All right, and we'll also put up the slideshow featuring Emily's wonderful samples. Thank you again. Have a wonderful morning, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Love you to the moon and back. Bye.